What's up guys, Saivo here. Today I'm going to be making a guide for Katalamize. We actually just started, so let's get right into it. This is going to be a live Katalamize guide. I'm going to show you what you need to know here, what setups you could use, from the Templars point of view, of course. I'm going to talk a bit about other classes as well. It's going to be about a 15-minute fight, so we have plenty of time to talk about everything. First of all, right here at the beginning, you saw how much damage Hyperion does on me if I don't have any protective spells from the beginning. So once you clear all the mobs on the side, let's make sure that my mic is working. Yes, it is. So once you clear all the mobs from the side of the room, Hyperion's shield is going to be deactivated. At that time, you will actually need to go inside as a tank. You will need to pay attention. You will need to be very fast as a tank to aggro Hyperion because, for example, if a chanter or a cleric casts a healing spell while Hyperion's shield is not active, so after the totems have been destroyed, then that chanter or a cleric is going to get the aggro. And trust me, it will one-shot a cleric and a chanter right away. So let's not waste divine power. Let's not waste scrolls and such. You as a tank, pay attention. You need to be there right at the beginning. Now the boss is targeting our ranger Shinnok and is gonna mana drain him. Um, by coincidence, one of our clerics was right next to him and he actually just died as well. Keep in mind, the fight goes like this. Hyperion, you do damage to it, he does various skills which we're going to talk about, and then at one point he puts a shield and spawns ads. Sometimes he spawns ads without a shield as well, so you as a tank, from the tank's point of view, you have to pay attention. If he has a shield, then obviously you go and help your group. If Hyperion does not have a shield, in any circumstance, you do not leave the middle of this room, because it's very important for the tank to always be in the middle of the room. Otherwise, the boss is going to do a skill on you, a short little cast that's going to take probably 80% of your HP, if not one hit you. This is another spell that he did, ID Energy Discharge. He took away all of my mana almost, and he did some damage as well. I always keep these premium recovery potions, the slow recovery ones, because they heal you more and they give you more mana back. I always keep them for after that skill is cast by the boss, because I may need mana, I may be in a critical situation, so there's no need for me to use pots in this boss fight. As long as you have a half decent gear, you do not need to spam those pots all the time. This skill, very important to remove shock right away. It is very important for you as a tank to know that you never remove shock in this boss fight unless it is that skill, which I will name to you. I will point out to you a bit later in the video because this time I forgot. So only one time you remove shock. Actually, you remove shock many times, but only for one skill, which is that particular skill, which I will tell you about later. Other than that, ID Energy Sphere, as you can see here, this is just basically a simple attack from the boss, a cast. ID Energy Discharge on me, this is the mana drain, bam, and I pop a pot right away. I got some mana from the Bard as well, so that's pretty good. We have a Bard in the setup. Scream is a room-wide AoE. As you can see, everyone went to green. ID Etheric Field is the shield. You can see this icon right here. This is the shield. Now, usually the shield gets combined with ads spawning. So you as a Templar can very nicely come here and help with these ads. There's no need to waste major taunts on the ads, right? Because you will need them for the boss after the shield is gone. I'm going to show you why. So after the first shield, you always have to keep an eye, as I said, on how long does the shield have on the boss, because as I said, if you're outside the middle of the room when he doesn't have a shield, he's gonna do a cast, a skill to you that will one shot you or take away 80% of your HP. Now, don't waste many taunts because of this. Sweep around. This is a skill which will knock you down, but you will not remove shock in any case when sweep around comes. No way, because you're gonna be needing remove shock um, when the Aether hold from the boss comes. And if you don't have it, that's kind of bad. Falling Strike, this is basically a regular skill that the boss does quite a lot of damage if you're in the Aether hold, because you're gonna see that he does Falling Strike after the sweep away, see? This is the skill that you always remove shock. And then Smash is after sweep away. So Now there's a shield again. Depending on your DPS in the group, the shields can be more often or more seldom. That just depends on how fast your DPS is. We're not going to get into that. You just focus on doing your best and having some half decent gear, and you're going to be just fine. As I was saying, no major cooldowns on ads. You have to know that ads come in waves. First, there is one ad, then there is two ads, then there is more and more ads all the time. At one point, the cycle resets, and there's again one ad and so forth. It depends on the percentages of the boss as well. So no major taunts used for the ads because of this. Before this sweep around, I pop almost all of my taunts on the boss because I cannot do anything in this period and the DPSs are still pumping DPS into the boss. I do not want to lose aggro while I'm knocked down in any way. So I don't waste taunts on ads. I keep them for the sweep around skill when I'm immobilized. I advise you do the same. Of course, if you're playing with competitive DPS, if your DPS is shit, you can, yeah, no need to taunt the boss. You can just auto attack it and you're still gonna keep aggro. Obviously, if you're a gladiator tanking, that's a whole different story. I would say it's a bit harder on a gladiator tanking because your survivability is not that good. But as long as you have a good group, you can be a gladiator tanking, you can be an assassin tanking or whatnot. Strong ID energy discharge. This is the mana drain. Bam! All my mana is gone. There we go. We get it back with a pot right after. Strong ID energy discharge again on me. This is a bummer when it happens because if you don't have a bard in your group, then if you use the pot, then the mana regen that you're gonna have is gonna be quite low. Other than that, guys, if you're a healing cleric, stay with your group, stay on the side, stay outside the center of the room. These little blue round puddles, they slow you down. The boss sometimes does this: one shot, bam, our cleric is one shot. Remove shock from sweep away and avoid the smash, the big hit from the smash. So sometimes the boss does that as well. So if you're fast on your fingers, if you are an assassin or a ranger and you're really fast on your fingers, then absolutely you can avoid that one shot as well. Now, the boss fight is almost over, guys. Let me tell you a few other important things. So if you're a cleric, full heals and pay attention to the ads. Now the boss has a shield again, and I'm gonna go and help my fellow group members here. They seem to be having a bit of a trouble with these ads. This is the time when many ads come, right? In this specific situation, I was forced to use a couple of my taunts, but that's no problem. I felt very comfortable on the boss. It still has 21 seconds of a shield, so I felt comfortable that I had enough aggro on the boss. So that's why I used my taunts, so I can actually get the ads off the group members and not make them suffer. It's always good if you're a tank or if you're a support chanter or a support bard to always try not to make your group members go through tough situations in the first place. Again, sweep around, as always after a shield. Again, I'm gonna pop some of my taunts and I'm just gonna not remove shock this time. In the Hyperion fight, guys, it is really important to pay attention to this skill, Mighty Energy Explosion. This is a skill that is targeted on one of the outer group members. It drains your mana and it does damage to you as well. It is important for you not to be next to your group members when that skill is going on because it drains the mana of the group members as well as your mana. So it is really cool if you could, when you see the skill, if you could go away from your group members. Usually it's here next to this wall. There's another shield now, or you can go here, down here. You can go all the way up to the ramp, even in this place. So that's really good as well. If you are a cleric and you do not really always target the boss, then it would be really cool to have someone in your alliance calling out the names of the people that are targeted by that skill, and that one person would go away when that skill is ongoing. It saves a lot of mana if you don't have a bard. You don't need a bard, by the way. So you don't need a bard. You don't need, two Templars and such. You can just do fine with any group composition as long as you have a plate with some taunt skills tanking, and as long as you have a support chanter in the group and one cleric for each group, it can be done. So no problem. Now, at the end of the, I keep all my Scream again, room wide AoE. That requires a fast dispel from the cleric. At the end, I keep my Empyrean Providence as a Templar. I keep it for the end. Again, mana drain on me, popping a pot. I keep my Empyrean Providence for the end. I keep some protective skills like Bodyguard and such for the end because at the end, most of the groups do not focus on killing the ads anymore. Let's see where Deadshot is. Deadshot did good, see? He went up the ramp, so he did pretty fine. Um, at the end, 6 ads come on each side, and people don't really take care of them. So I'm gonna keep my Empyrean Providence for that particular time, which is gonna be close to now. Uh, and one very, very important thing that I forgot to mention to you guys, but I'm going to mention it now. These are the ads. There are quite a lot of them. And the very important thing in this boss fight, there is crystals, 2 crystals floating around here, and then 2 other crystals floating around here. It is important and it's vital to have a guy doing the crystals. What that means is a person, a ranged DPS, preferably a sorcerer or a ranger with some high burst, has to either stay here, right? Because if he stays here, he's gonna be in the range of these first 2 crystals, and he has to kill those crystals up in the air, and that's all he needs to do. So stay here and kill the crystals. Now, if that particular person doesn't want to stay in this place, he can also choose to stay on the other ledge that I'm gonna show you right now. This is the place as well. So it's either going to be here or it is going to be here. And he can kill the crystals on this side. He only needs to kill 2 crystals. Of course, if he's really bored and pro, he can do 3. What those crystals do are put a buff on the boss. The buff on the boss gives the boss increased damage. So it is really good to kill those crystals, and it is really good to kill 2 or more. Even 1 or more is good. So if the boss has 3 buffs, that's pretty fine as well. But it's very good if he could kill 2 because there are 2 on each side. So that makes it very easy to kill either these 2 or those 2 by standing on one of those ledges. Only 2 needed, not more. 1 is fine as well. But if the boss reaches to get the buff from 4 crystals, he does a skill that wipes your alliance. Other than that, guys, let me show you a couple of pieces of loot. This is a secondary box with mats. You can get all sorts of mats, designs, mats, mana stones, and whatnot. And this is an equipment box that you can get a random piece. In my case, I got a from the Templar set because you only get your specific classes set. I got the Greatsword set this time. It is with the Greatsword and the other pieces as well. Let's see what I get from the other box. I did 2 runs. You can do 2 runs every week. 2 runs every week, was it? Yeah. Yeah, and from the other set, I got again the exact same piece. So that's a bummer, guys. It's pretty grindy. I wish you lots of fun. It's super easy to do, and I advise you doing it.